Hello and welcome to the Allegany County Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum for the City of Frostburg Municipal Election Candidates for the June 2nd, 2020 Frostburg Municipal Election. I'm Stu Zapsky, Executive Director of the Chamber. There are 5 candidates on the ballot, all incumbents, and they are Mayor Robert Flanagan, Commissioner of Finance Donnie Carter, Commissioner of Public Safety Kevin Grove, Commissioner of Public Works Adam Ritchie, and Commissioner of Water, Parks and Recreation Nina Forsyth. Let's get started. Question number 1 is going to be welcome and introductory remarks. Everyone will be answering that question, and it goes first to Donnie Carter.
Hi, my name's Donnie Carter. I'm a local businessman. Lived in Frostburg pretty much my whole life. This will be, I've been on city council for 10 years, so this is my 6th election coming up. Just enjoyed being a part of the council for all those years. We've worked with a lot of good people. We have a great staff at the city, and I look forward to continuing that here in the next 2 years.
Thank you, Donnie. Bob?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Flanagan. I've been your mayor now. This will be my 6th term. Been on the council for 7 terms, so I'll be starting year 13. Unfortunately for me, being the longest on council, I've kind of lived through 2 recessions now. This is my 2nd one, and I'd like to just let everybody know that we got through the last one. We'll get through this one. As Donnie said, it's been a great ride. I think we've accomplished a lot of really good things, and we continue to look forward and move forward. Again, I'd like to thank and reach out to our city staff and our workers. They're just outstanding people. They care very much about all of us and all of our citizens. And so again, it's made the job really quite easy for us because we all do pull together. I appreciate the chamber offering up this opportunity today, and I'll pass it on to the next candidate.
Thank you, Bob. Nina?
I'm Nina Forsyth. I'm a newbie on council. This is my 1st term. Has been an education for me. I have really enjoyed being involved in community service type things since pretty much since I've gotten here 14 years ago, and I find serving on council to be another aspect of community service, and one of the things I enjoy the most about it, and I look forward to continuing to do that for the next 2 years if you vote me in.
Thank you, Nina. Kevin?
Hi, thanks a lot, Stu, for having us here today. My name is Kevin Grove. I'm a retired police officer with the Frostburg City Police with 41 years service. I just felt that it was kind of a natural thing to go from being a police officer to being a commissioner of public safety. I have a great group of guys that I work with. We've made a lot of accomplishments over the last 2 years, and I look forward to the next 2 years.
Thanks, Kevin. Adam?
Yeah, my name's Adam Ritchie. I'm Commissioner of Public Works, seeking my 2nd term here. This last 2 years, it's really flown by. Definitely learned a lot. For me, Public Works, my background is in facility and grounds maintenance. So, I think I have a good understanding of, how things work inside of the street department. So it definitely helps me, make decisions there. Me and my wife, we moved to Frostburg here in 2005 after I got out of the Navy. And, we're here with our 3 children. Well, one's 20, he's not such a kid, but we can't seem to get rid of him. So I don't know. My wife's okay with that though. But, just looking forward to the future here and working with everybody. So thanks.
Thanks, Adam. Next question for Nina, Kevin, and Adam. For 3 of you, the past 2 years have been your 1st term. What are some specific accomplishments you're particularly proud of in your respective departments? Nina?
Well, I think that the conversion of the Mount Pleasant Park is one that I'm really proud of. It was a park that had gotten less and less use, especially the softball field, and so it was deteriorating, and we put in for a grant to convert that park to a multi-use park. We are in the midst of, we got the grant, and we're in the midst of converting it There's a volleyball court that's been put up, and we're working on a track with 6 or so exercise stations available around the track, so you can exercise different ways while you walk on the track or run. And there's going to be a community garden there, a pavilion, so lots of different uses there for the neighborhood up in the Mount Pleasant area. Another thing that I'm proud of is that we have been able to replace some expensive, really necessary components of the Piney Dam pump house. The last thing you want is for the water to go out on you. And so we're trying to keep ahead of that curve so that we're not just doing things after they fail. We're trying to keep ahead of that. What I'm really proud of actually is the people that we have working for this city. I think hiring Elizabeth as our city manager is one of the best things we've done. She was definitely far and away the best candidate of all the ones that we interviewed. And since she's been on, she's had a lot of really good input, and I think having more information available to the public is one of the things that she has really done well to serve the public. So things that are available online, so you don't have to come into City Hall to ask for every little thing that you want to know. There's lots more I could talk about, but I'm really proud of the Parks and Rec staff and the Water Department staff. They've been just excellent to work with.
Thanks, Nina. Kevin?
In my original election to this office, I had 2 goals for the department. And my first goal was the hiring and the retention of our police officers. In this time, we've hired 5 new police officers to bring our total to 17, which is our maximum amount of police officers. We also have 4 police communications officers. In those officers, we had 2 transfers from another department. We had 2 officers that we sent through the police academy and 1 officer that returned to us that had moved to Arizona and came back. We promoted 2 officers to lieutenants, 1 officer to first sergeant, and 4 officers to sergeant. And in the near future, there will be 2 corporals promoted. We've created many overtime opportunities for the officers. We've upgraded the equipment. We've outfitted each officer with a Class A uniform and have created an honor guard for parades and other events. These things increase morale and make it likely that the officers will remain with the department. Also, with the help of the entire council, salaries are being moved up for all the city employees. So that was my first goal. My second goal was to increase the community policing for the department by having positive interactions with the citizens of Frostburg. In that, we have an involvement with the Frostburg State University and the Children's Literature Center. During Storybook Holiday, which is a big event for the kids in Frostburg, we created a Coco with the Popo that we held at the police department. We've done that for 2 years and have had hundreds of children and adults come through our police department to tour the police department and have Coco with us. In the summer, we had 1 year of Lemonade with the Law, which again resulted in hundreds of visitors to the police department. Unfortunately, the Lemonade or the Pirates this year has been made virtual, but we're still going to be involved in that. We've joined other law enforcement agencies for No Shave November, where the officers were allowed in November to grow a beard and collect money for different causes. We participated in the National Night Out at the Country Club Mall, displaying our department. Another important thing that we did was Shop with a Cop, and that's a program that is for underprivileged children to go to the store and buy Christmas gifts for their family. We visited the senior citizens building. We've visited at the nursing homes. on a regular basis so that they can meet the officers in the department. And our newly formed Honor Guard participates in local parades. So I think we've accomplished a lot in letting the citizens see us. We are also, we're involved in the Frostburg Community Coalition, which is a group of concerned citizens for the good of the city. We are members of the Allegany County Opioid Task Force, and we attend meetings of the Traffic Safety Committee.
Thank you, Kevin. Adam?
Yeah, I think for me, coming in here and just seeing the everyday operations going on, it's really an eye opener to see, how many hardworking people the city of Frostburg does have. So one of the things for me coming in here was the salaries and to get these people some more money in their pockets, we got a good group of people on council, and we were able to get that through. So that's one thing. Another thing for me was a Yule Street project here in Frostburg that we got done. We started there last summer, and hopefully when everything breaks loose here, we're going to be able to finish that up. But we were catching a lot of storm water coming off of St. Mike's parking lot, and in the winter time it would flood down on the street and then freeze and thaw, and the street was in really bad shape. But what really made it nice was the fact that our guys at the street department, they got to head that up and do a lot of that project, so we didn't have to outsource it. We saved a lot of money, and it was just a really good project that needed done in the city. Another thing that we've done is really taking a look at how we're patching the streets, because it seems like we're patching the same potholes year after year, every year. So we're taking a harder look at how we're doing that, and we rented a milling machine last year to really do some nice patch jobs throughout the city, and so hopefully this year we can get our own milling machine that we can keep going with that process, and just saving the city money down the road. So and another thing we did, we purchased a new plow truck for the city, and after a lot of searching on the internet and stuff, we finally found a new used one out in Ohio, and we were able to save probably $30,000 or so on top of that by getting that. We were able to take possession of that really quickly too. So there's just some of the things that I'm really proud of, but really looking forward to the future.
Thank you, Adam. For Bob and Donnie, this is not your first term. And for you, at the start of 2020, we would never have imagined the changes and challenges we are currently facing. Looking ahead, what challenges do you expect to be faced within the coming term? Bob?
Well, I think as all of us in leadership have been experiencing the daily COVID updates from the governor and the White House and our local folks in the health department and whatnot, if we all had a crystal ball, this job would be so much easier, but we don't. And it's really, really difficult because, again, we'd like to see everything back normal, 6 weeks ago. And I think the process of reopening is going to be probably tougher than the process was of closing things. But I feel as though that, we've got to start moving in the right direction safely, so that we don't cause more harm or death. And I know there's a lot of people in business. Donnie's in business and I'm in business, and we have a lot of businesses on Main Street that haven't been able to be open through this time. And it's really, really tough on them. And I know we've reached out, and I hope those folks who are watching us know that we are keeping you all in our hearts and our prayers. I know the federal government has done some stimulus money for business and whatnot, but at the same time, when you're used to going to work every day, you want to go to work. And when you run a business, you want to open your doors and turn the lights on and see the customers come in. And so I think emotionally, this is just as tough for a lot of people as this financially. So just want to see things get going. I want to keep people in the loop. And I know it's sometimes it is very, very tough and very depressing, but my cup's always half full, folks. And I want you all to kind of put a little bit more in yours, and don't get disgruntled by this, because the sun's shining. It's going to continue to shine. We just have to keep grabbing at the good stuff, and the bad stuff will eventually go away. So again, I appreciate the opportunity today, Stu. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Donnie?
I think a lot of our issues going forward are going to be dealing with the needs of our citizens and our businesses. Like Bob said, so many citizens are out of work right now, just lay off because of the businesses closed. A lot of our downtown businesses are struggling. Many of them are closed up. Some of them are lucky enough to be able to stay open at least partially, but even those businesses are seeing a significant decrease in revenue. And how we deal with that going forward. I mean, I'd like just give an example. The electric company, the gas company, they've all stopped shutoffs for a lot of citizens and businesses and stuff. But those bills are going to keep piling up, and until people get back on their feet and have time to recoup some of the lost money here, it's going to be tough for everybody. And that's going to reflect on the city. We've got bills to pay too on that end, but we're relying on a lot of tax revenue, a lot of money from downstate for different things, and we don't know where that's going to be. Whether some of this promised money from years ago is actually going to pan out at this point because of the lost revenues, on the tax side. So that's one of the big concerns I have going forward, is how we're going to deal with that.
Thanks, Donnie. This question is for everybody. Despite those challenges, what do you hope to accomplish in the next 2 years? Kevin?
Well, I'd like to see us go forward with what we're doing, not only in the police department, but in the entire city. And with this pandemic, I'd encourage all the citizens to continue to support the businesses that are open. It totally amazes me that how these businesses, like Donnie's business, they've reinvented how they do business. And fortunately, some of them are still doing okay. But on the other hand, they've had to lay employees off because they don't need as many employees to do what they're doing. But I'm just so proud of the businesses that we have in Frostburg. And I think that as the mayor said, everything's gonna return. It's gonna be better than ever.
Thanks, Kevin. Adam?
Yeah, what I'm hoping for the next 2 years, I hope that we can, get back to some kind of normalcy. Hopefully we can continue on with the projects we have going on around here, getting streets paved and new sidewalks, and hopefully we can continue to, focus on salaries and, stuff like that. So, I think we have a great community, and I think that, if we all stand together, we're going to be okay.
Thank you, Adam. Donnie?
I'd like to see, of course, City Hall get finished up. Some of the, like they said, a lot of the infrastructure projects. We've got the project out on Center Street that we're working on. We hope to see that happen. Again, get all our businesses reopened. We were on Frostburg since I've been on council, has seen a resurgence of downtown businesses, and then hopefully that's able to continue once everything gets opened back up and we start filling up some of these empty storefronts again. Hopefully people come back to wanting to shop small, shop local, and that momentum keeps going forward. So that's kind of my hope for the future.
Thanks, Donnie. Bob?
Well, just kind of continue what Donnie just said. I've been really, really pleased with a lot of the work that Ashley's done with the county with tourism, and a lot of her posts and whatnot that she shares with us. The idea that, again, kind of following what Donnie just alluded to, that America is going to want to re-embrace themselves again. And coming home to small town America was going to be a real viable thing, because for a lot of folks in the urban areas in the big cities that have been locked down for long periods of time, people are going to want some fresh air. And they were going to see some new scenery and different things and so on and so forth. So I'm really hoping that puts us poised in the right place. And so for all the folks that work behind the scenes in tourism in Allegany County and here in the city of Frostburg, Ms. Deirdre with Frostburg First, those folks have been working really, really hard to keep us out in front of people. And so I have high hopes for that. And I also have high hopes that as we move forward, that there is almost an excitement when as some people have heard them say, when we're free again, that people will take advantage of the small businesses. And nothing against the folks that work at Amazon, but it's it's fun to get out on your 2 feet and see what's in your community, and embrace your hometown. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Thanks, Bob. Nina?
One of the things I've been really impressed with during this lockdown is the community spirit that has shown itself. There are, I'd say, half a dozen groups that I know of on Facebook alone that are offering different kinds of support to people in the community, baristas that are laid off, and waitresses and waiters that haven't been able to work, people offering to run errands for those who are in the vulnerable group and can't get out, people making masks. I mean, it's just been really, really supportive. And so what I would like to see when we open back up is an extension of that, supporting your community. This is the community that you volunteered for, now shop here. And I think one of the advantages of the small businesses is the trust. When you go into a large box store, it's really hard to feel like they can control people, still enforcing the kinds of social distancing and cleaning measures that are important for opening up in a safe way. But in a small store, with a proprietor that and trust, you feel safe going there. And that's what's going to bring people out, if they feel safe coming out. And so if these small business owners, can advertise the way they're doing it safely, then people will come out and will support our businesses. I'd like to see like a big splash like that. Shop here in a small, safe community. The other thing is that I'd like to see the pop-up shop that Frostburg First was promoting. I would like to see that resume, because it has a low entry bar. So people who dreamed of having a small business, want to try out their idea, it doesn't really cost them much to do that with a pop-up shop. And so that would be another way of kind of injecting some energy into the business community here. As far as the city goes, we're a little bit in the dark as far as our budget goes, but we have a draft budget. We've kind of like a skeleton budget, or a best guess budget, which we're able to adjust as the real numbers start coming in. So we've always been pretty conservative as far as we don't tend to go out on a limb and take out lots of big loans and that sort of thing. So we're not overextended. And we're going to continue operating that way so that, we're not in the red.
Thank you, Nina. Next question goes to Adam first. How can the city of Frostburg help in rebuilding our region's economy as we come out of the COVID-19 pandemic? Adam?
I think that picture is definitely still unfolding. I'm not exactly sure what, that's going to look like, but I think, we need to remain open and flexible, to whatever the needs of our citizens and business owners of Frostburg are, whether that's getting information about grants or loans out there, or just making sure our citizens, we get the information out there as quickly as possible to them. So, letting everybody know, when we get back to regular business and get all the, the regular services opened up, just getting that information, I think communication is going to be the biggest thing.
Thank you, Adam. Donnie?
I think touching on what Nina said, letting everybody know that we are working to be safe. Work with our businesses, local businesses, make sure they have what they need. Our staff does a great job getting grant money. Maybe look into some options for some of these businesses that have been struggling here. Get our Main Street back up today. Get the other businesses out and about. Going tourism back. It's important for the downtown businesses. The train is super important. We can't wait till we can get that running again. Hopefully they can figure out something that they can do in a safe manner there and get some feet back on Main Street. I think going forward, I think that's what we have to do is just work with our businesses and it'll kind of trickle down through the rest of the area as they see what's happening here.
Thank you, Donnie. Bob?
Well, I always get a lot of compliments about how Frostburg presents itself so well. It's clean and it's inviting, and from the outsider looking in, I always hear the beautiful scenery and the fact that people of Frostburg are friendly. And I think the biggest thing we can do is continue to live that, and maybe try to work even a little harder towards that. And that when people come to visit and that when they return back home or come through for the first time, and again, it's been a real pleasure these last couple of years on council, because when I run to somebody that's never been here before, I get 10 compliments about how nice this little town is. So we all got to keep that positive ingrainedness in ourselves, that we don't want to lose that. We worked really hard to be a little show place on the mountain. Let's not give up that show place, and keep sweeping our sidewalks and painting our railings and make us look ready and open for business. And that'll take our minds off of a lot of things too. Busy hands are always a good thing, especially when they're doing good work. So I really want to impress that upon not only our business people, but our town people too. You never know who's riding through your neighborhood. And, don't put trash out on the wrong day, and don't fail to cut your grass, and don't let your car sit in front of the house with 2 flat tires on it. We're big on code enforcement in Frostburg. And we do that for a reason, because there's value in it. And I want to see that continue.
Thanks, Bob. Nina?
Well, there are a couple advantages that we have here, and those are the advantages that we need to stress when we're trying to bring the economy back in this region. One is like the one that Bob was just mentioning, just our location, what's attractive about it, the bike path and the train and so forth. Another is FSU, which is a local economic driver. There are also things are uncertain there, but I was encouraged to hear that applications are up at FSU, so it might, maybe one of the advantages of FSU over some of the other branch campuses is that it is in an area that probably parents would feel safer to send their children when things are so uncertain in some of the areas that have been hit harder by COVID-19. So that's, that's a hope. We'll see if it pans out. So that's one thing that's a positive that we have. I think playing on our small town aspect, I would like to do a community beautify the burg when we're allowed out again. Just cleaning up the streets, cleaning up the flower beds. That's a no-cost thing that we can do, or a very low-cost thing that we can do to make our town attractive for when people do come back. And then again, the low bar of entry, if people want to start a business here, it's pretty low cost. And if they see that we're an attractive town, they might really, and see the advantages of being a trail town, and how cheap it is to actually buy a house here compared to a lot of areas. These are things that we can really use to our advantage.
Sure. Thanks, Dina. Kevin?
The first thing I'd like to see us work with the county, state, and federal government to help our businesses that have closed and the businesses that can open. Again, as I had said, it's amazing how we're reinventing these positions and these businesses. And in the definition of essential, it's tough for somebody who has a boutique in Frostburg not to be able to be open, but you can go to Walmart and buy the same clothes that our boutique sells. So somewhere along the line, there has to be a better definition of what's essential. And I think every business should have the opportunity to reinvent how they run their business, with how many people can be in the shop, different things like that. And again, I think I'm looking forward to things going back to as close to normal as they can be.
Thanks, Kevin. Our last question prior to closing remarks goes to Donnie first. As was mentioned, budget's obviously going to be a concern going into the near future at least. What infrastructure projects should remain a priority? Donnie?
The good thing about many of our infrastructure projects is they are grant funded. Very little cash comes out of the city's pockets, very little is borrowed. So, I mean, one that I would like to see move forward is the Center Street project. We've already got a good bit of money invested in that one. It's months away. It was months away from being put out to bid or request for proposals here right before all this pandemic hit. So that would be one of the ones I would like to see get finished. I know some of the other commissioners have some in their departments that they'd like to talk about, but that would be one of my priorities.
Thanks, Don. Bob?
Well, obviously our city center project, which continues, our Builder Daystar, they haven't missed a day. They've been following all the guidelines. We're very, very fortunate that we have such talented people here locally. They're a construction firm just out of Garrett County, just over the mountain, basically, using all local people, local subs for the electric and for plumbing and whatnot. We were hoping to be in that building very early in 2021. And I would like to reach out to President Nowacek and again thank him for allowing our police department to utilize his old police department there on campus while this has been going on. The camp's been very, very hospitable to us. And again, utilizing a structure that was used as a police department, so it fit our needs. But again, showing the partnership between the city and the university, I think it just speaks volumes that the two guys can talk about what they need and work together on things. But yeah, again, like I say, the City Hall project, I think our new city center basically is very, very important. It'll give the police department a very, very nice new renovated home, and it'll give our City Hall staff a good environment to work in. And for our citizens, it's going to be a lot more user friendly than 59 East Main Street ever was, or ever could be. So I'm really looking forward to that big ribbon when that time comes.
Thank you, Bob. Nina?
Well, we do have projects that are underway that are grant funded, like the Mount Pleasant Park project, and that work is continuing on that. We have applied for grants that we don't know if they're going to come through, so it would really depend on those because we don't want to pay full cost for more expensive projects. In the water department, we are under legal obligation to continue with the CSO project, the Combined Sewer Overflow Separating Project. And we are fortunate that Chris Hovater works ahead on those. So he always has, there's like the projects are in 3 phases. The project that's being currently worked on, project that is being pitched for grant funding, and then the project that is being engineered, where the plans are being drawn up so that it'll be ready to be pitched. So that is still going forward, and I imagine that it'll continue just because we are we're so close to the end. And then the other thing is just making sure that the pumping station is in good shape. I live by the maxim that you shouldn't be, what was it, penny wise and pound foolish. You need to spend the money now to avoid spending 10, 20 times as much later. So making sure that things get replaced before there's an emergency that ends up costing you a lot more, and to make sure that the water keeps flowing. We can save money in other ways, and I'm continuing to look at ways that for example, our electricity bill can come down. One of the things I forgot to mention that I was proud of is the charging station that was put in the St. Mike parking lot. That got put in like right near the beginning of the lockdown, so we weren't able to have a ribbon cutting or a grand plug-in, which I hope to have when we're allowed out again. But that was totally at no cost to the city, and it is a way to attract electric vehicle drivers because there aren't a lot of charging stations in this area. So if they know that there's one in this town, they can stop here, they can charge their car, and eat at a restaurant and shop in our stores. So things like that, I think, would also help out. If we can build infrastructure that is at low or no cost to us, that will attract others. Transportation is another one that I'm interested in looking at.
Thank you, Nina. Kevin?
Well, certainly the City Hall Police Department project's got to be number one in my mind. It's just another way to retain our police officers. When they can move in to a brand new building, it really helps with the morale of the police department. And again, touching on the combined sewer overflow, the separation of the sewer in the street water is just a small part of that. The streetscape above, which is all in that particular grant, where you get new sidewalks, you get new lighting, you get new paving, is so important to the city.
Thank you, Kevin. Adam?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the CSO projects. Also I think that we get the most bang for our buck with those. We're getting streets paved that normally wouldn't have gotten paved. Or we're getting sidewalks put in that were not there before. The city puts out very little money, for those projects. So I think that I definitely think that's the most important project that we hopefully can get back into.
Thank you, Adam. We're going to move on to closing remarks, and we'll start with Bob.
All right. Well, again, Stu, thank you for joining us today. I always appreciate your help and the Chamber's help. You guys do a fantastic job for everyone in Allegheny County in so many ways. Just to kind of wrap things up, again, I want to thank our city staff. Miss Elizabeth has had her baptism of fire here this spring. Not really sure if she knew what she was signing on for when we said, congratulations, you got the job. But I think she's done this an excellent job, as have some of the folks we promoted in-house city staff at City Hall. These were all very, very dedicated folks, and they know the town, and they care very much about it. And I'm very proud, and I know the rest of the council is too, that we were able to maintain a good continuity base at City Hall. So that's important. Again, for our city employees, hang in there. We want to get shovels back in your hand. There's work to be done. And we appreciate it. And thanks to the police for working through this very difficult time, along with our EMS providers, our county ambulance crews, our volunteer fire folks. No one's failed to answer the call. And I really, really do appreciate that. And I also want to thank our citizens. Again, keep your heads up. Keep thinking positive. Get out, do some yard work. Keep your grass cut. There's plenty to do. It's Frostburg and it's springtime, and maybe the snow is over, or maybe the frost. We'll see. But again, we're all looking forward to a great end of spring and early summer here in Frostburg. Keep your heads up, folks. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Nina?
I'd like to add my thanks, Stu, to the for this opportunity to let citizens know what we've been doing and what we plan to do. When I was elected 2 years ago, I really didn't know what to expect. I had some hopes, but I think a lot of my 2 years were spent just learning the ropes, and I feel like I know the ropes now and can move ahead with a little more confidence. I thank the citizens for their confidence in me, and I hope they will continue to have that, and that I will continue to earn that. I have a Frostburg, I have a Facebook page for Commissioner of Water, Parks and Rec. People can always contact me there or my city email, because I really like to have citizen input. Anytime there are questions or complaints, I'm ready to, to explain why I made the decision I made, to take complaints, comments, whatever they want. I'd like people to know that as per the governor's approval, the playgrounds in the parks are now open, but I would encourage people to be careful, to not take any unnecessary risks, not to crowd them. I was up in Glendunning today. I thought, nice sunny day, people are probably out in the playground, but maybe it was a time, I was there 12:30, maybe people were eating lunch. Nobody was on the playground. So if you want your kids to enjoy the playgrounds, you are able to do that. Just, the city staff cleans them, but it's not like after every person has been on them. So, it's kind of like play at your own risk, but get out there and enjoy it safely.
Thank you, Nina. Kevin?
Again, I want to thank you again, Stu, for having us today. I think this has been a really good group of people to work with over the first 2 years of my office. We've had some disagreements, but we've worked things out, and I think we've accomplished a lot in those 2 years. And without being said, this is going to be one of the most unusual elections that we've ever had in Frostburg, because it's going to be a mail-in election. The one good point of that is that your turnout has the ability to be way higher than what you do when you go to a polling place. So I want to speak out to all the citizens that I hope that you will send these back in and give us all a vote of confidence. And again, I think I appreciate working with everybody that I've worked with.
Thank you, Kevin. Adam?
Yeah, first I'd like to thank all of our employees. They've really stepped up in this time. Really going above and beyond. I think and all the business owners in Frostburg. It's everybody's going through a struggle right now, but a lot of businesses have stepped up. Giving out lunches and things like that, and that's really been great for our community. I want to let the citizens know that, some of our things are, we were supposed to have bulk trash pickup, coming up here. We did get that rescheduled for June 16th, 17th, and 18th. So just everybody put those dates down. Again, everybody's going to get their ballot, in the mail. So when you do get it, just please, fill it out, vote, send it back in. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Donnie?
I'd like to thank you, Stu, and the Chamber for hosting this. I'd like to thank our citizens for having faith in all of us to continue serving everybody for another 2 years. It's been a joy, like I said, for the past 10 years. I look forward to the next 2 and all that comes, and getting out of this the lock-in phase here in the near future, and starting to get things back to normal. But again, thanks for hosting this, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you, Donnie. That concludes our forum. I would like to thank our candidates for their participation and wish them all the best of luck. Ballots will be mailed to every registered voter. Ballots are to be returned by mail or placed in the delivery box at 14 South Water Street, on Election Day, June 2nd. If you do not receive a 2020 election ballot by mail by Wednesday, May 20th, and you believe you should have, please contact City Administrator Elizabeth Stallman. Completed ballots must be postmarked or delivered by June 2nd, 2020. Additional information is available on the City of Frostburg website at frostburgcity.org. The Allegheny County Chamber of Commerce encourages everyone to vote and to make informed decisions on Election Day. Thank you.